What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stirfry. It's your boy, Chef T.
I'm Will the Spacekid.
And our special guest today is Sweet Treats by Shawntel. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. We can't complain, you know. So we're finally getting some sunny days here.
A little bit. Still cold.
Yeah, still very cold. It's supposed to get even colder.
A little nippy. Just a little.
I just want that summer weather. I want it.
I actually like winter.
Really?
Yeah,
like winter?
I love the snow.
Ooh,
So I like the look of the snow, but once that, cold...
I wish I could touch it without getting cold. If that would that would be the perfect.
I totally agree because I think it looks good. You know, you go outside, it's all like perfectly.
It's still light at night.
Yeah.
I don't think I like nothing about winter. I think I haven't liked winter since I was like 7 years old. Like, that was the end of it. As a kid,
winter was better when you're young.
You make like some stuff super cool.
I got some bad winter memories as a kid. I'm okay.
Oh no. We won't take you there. So you're a baker / designer. You do it all in the baking game. How long have you been doing it for?
Ooh, 7 years.
7 years, okay.
Yeah, I did my first official event in 2013. It was a sipping shop in December. But I've been actually making stuff since I graduated from high school in 2012. Okay. I did party favorites for my graduation party. Okay. And just started doing it.
So when you were younger, were you always in the kitchen, helping out, or?
No, I was double majored pre-med in biology at CSU. Like, this was totally not on my radar
totally out of
left
field. Yeah, left field.
It was a complete change.
Okay.
What about cooking, like, in the household as a child?
I can't cook, but I can bake. I can make some
That's
stuff.
Crazy to me. I feel like you should be able to... I mean...
I've heard that a lot.
No, I hear it a lot, too, but...
Some people can't do both, and I'm one of them people. Okay. Like, I can make some stuff, and some dishes would be like, oh, you made that? And then it's like, other stuff is like, don't do that again.
Okay. So, any influence growing up, or did it just come out of nowhere? Like, hey, I want to try this?
Well, my aunts actually have a catering company, and they've been catering, and we used to help them do, like, weddings and stuff like that. My family always does, like, really large gatherings, so it's always a plated dish. We have, like, buffet tables. We do decorations, centerpieces. So it really all came from that. So I got a lot of my old hacks and stuff that I can maneuver through that most people be like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can always call somebody, like call one of my aunts or my mom, my grandmother. Somebody would be like, well, we used to do it like this. And I'd be like, okay, cool.
That does help out because, not everyone has like that opportunity of like, okay, we got a big group of people we're cooking for. And I feel like that really, that takes you over the next level because you might bake, one cake for, for some event, blah, blah, blah. But when you have, like, a lot of people, you're making, like, little different things, like, like a bunch of cupcakes. Yeah. So you're getting that experience of doing, like, a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. And plus people to show you how to do it, which is, like...
Oh, yeah.
That's clutch. So when did it kind of, kick in, like, okay, this is what I really want to, lean towards?
I would say the first order I got that wasn't somebody related to me. It was a baby shower, and at the time I was working at Jimmy John's at CSU. Okay. Like, I wasn't thinking about it, and then I got the order, and I'm like, oh, so people really like this. I didn't have a name, a business card, nothing. I just did it, and from there I was like, okay, I gotta kind of get control of this, because anybody be like, oh, well, I made that. No, you didn't. You couldn't do that. Don't do this to me.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, people are wanting this stuff. Where do I go next? So did you, after CSU, is this like your full-time thing that you're trying to do? Is just like create this baking company?
Ultimately, yes. Okay. My number one goal is to have, basically I want to buy a building where I can do my storefront on one side and the event planning on another. So you can actually rent my space, I'll decorate it, I'll have caterers come in, we'll do the decorations, and basically everything is full service. Okay. That's my ultimate goal, and I actually just launched with doing all of that. I started buying the linens and everything that I need to do the event planning, and I did my mom's birthday party. And like a fool, I didn't take any pictures, but...
Yeah, I gotta get that marketing on.
Yeah.
It's so horrible. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But it actually turned out really nice. I made half the food. even though I can't cook, it was actually good.
Okay.
So I'm getting better. I'm working on it.
Well, see, again, like you have your family there that like has already started like successful companies and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's ultimately it could happen. You know, it's like so realistic.
Yeah. It's definitely required. My parents are like, they do everything they can to make sure that we all are like, you got to do something better than what we did. And when my mother opened her daycare center, I'm like, what am I supposed to do now that's better than that? But they're still pushing. They're still trying to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to. But I got to work every day, so
yeah.
it gets hard.
That's inspiring though to see.
Super cool.
your mom kind of later in life take on something like opening a daycare. You know, that's amazing. That shows so much like inspiration that you can doesn't matter what age you are, you can start. You can start your passion whenever.
So it was a dream that she had when she was younger, and she was working for COGC actually for 19 years, and then she started to go into other stuff, and that's when she full on went with the daycare center. But other than that, it's just been pushing.
Yeah,
I always think that's kind of crazy. Like
amazing.
20 years somewhere. But I was gonna say, take the the audience back to like your first event, like I guess the actual like day or night of it. Once you got there, this is real. These people are about to, eat the things that I made. What was that like? What does that look like?
Nervous. Super nervous. I would say I bit off a little more than I could chew because I had about like just 7 totes full of stuff from the tablewares, the stuff to set up the food tables, the candy tables, the backdrops.
Okay.
I did balloon tiers.
Oh, wow.
Like, I did
what type of event
everything. It was a birthday party. My mother just turned 50.
Okay.
So we did everything. I made centerpieces. I sent out flyers. Like, I had little place cards. And it was so much that I didn't get to do because I didn't do all the prep work that I should have before we got to the place. So I was, like, putting stuff together. But a lot of the stuff needed to be done on site.
Wow. So you kind of did the so people say like they event plan, and a lot of the time that usually is like direction. Like, okay, I know this person that can make flyers. I know this person that can make cakes. I'm gonna get you fully set up. Yeah. But you took it upon yourself to physically, emotionally, spiritually put together this event.
Yes, like I bought a bar table and everything. Ordered all of the tablecloths, table runners, made most of the stuff. We had some stuff that was ordered out, but pretty much everything. My sisters and I planned out the menu. I had one of my cousins help us with the bar setup, but...
Now, was this a surprise?
It was starting out to be a surprise, but my mother is so nosy.
Okay.
And she's so high maintenance. She wanted stuff, and it's like, well, we got to run this by her to make sure that she even like it.
Oh, okay. But you took it on, though, and it clearly, I feel like, helped you in the long run know that you could do it. You took a risk. Yeah. Even though it wasn't that high risk because it was your mom, but it still was like, a big task to take on.
Oh, definitely.
Most people start out small, like, oh, I'm just going to do, like, this little, like, 5 people, like, I'll cater everything.
Oh, no, and then we had to think about the fact that it was during COVID, so we had to make sure everybody had masks and hand sanitizer, doing temperature checks at the door. It was a whole thing. It was bad. Wow. Yeah.
Did you also DJ?
No,
yeah, she's like, set everything up like, cool. Okay.
No, actually, my sister, we had the place that we had it at had a system. Okay. So they let us just plug our phone in, and my sister made we have Spotify Premium, so she made a playlist, and we were just controlling the music from our phones. But yeah, okay. In a way, we did have a DJ, my sister. So
I got you.
That would have been hilarious. So you guys are just like taking turns, just like throwing on the headphones real quick, doing a little spin, and trading off. So what? Tell me about like the first time you got a request for a cake. So like that was a big moment. You're like, okay, someone that I don't know is making a request. What was the cake? How was, what was going through your mind? Because you want to please the person, make it your best thing yet.
I'm trying to think. My first like cake that I got paid for, because I was doing cakes before it was actually like advertised. So I made cakes throughout the family and stuff like that. I think the first one that was an actual decorated cake was a birthday cake for my sister. And it looked nothing like the picture. It was horrible. It was just a complete fail. But everybody ate it and they were like, it's so good. And I'm
hey,
like,
if it tastes good.
Lying? I'm like,
it might have did taste good. Some stuff don't look the best, but it tastes good.
Sometimes the ugly stuff do be cute. Yeah. It's like you get it and it's like, oh, okay. That's like even Madly's has where you can go in the store and buy a box and I think they call it oops or like whoops or something like that. And it's all the messed up pieces that you can buy. And it's like some of the stuff in that box would be better than the stuff that's packaged on the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, what was the first interesting request where you did make the cake look like how it's supposed to look?
I wouldn't. Yeah,
but it was an interesting. It was an interesting request. Like you were like, oh, this isn't a vanilla cake or a chocolate cake. You want a what? Oh, okay.
I don't know because
What about design wise?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Like you got.
I want to hear the craziest design, right?
So you got a lot of like liquor cakes that I see.
Yeah,
I see some gun
a lot
cakes.
Of characters. Yeah, I did a Target. That was actually my first cake of the year. I'm like, okay.
So what was the first design? Take it back.
It was supposed to be a Tiffany box with the bow on top.
Okay,
that's a tough one. I feel like.
Yeah, it was not.
Like just the box or like the jewelry too?
No, it was just the box. It was supposed to be like the Tiffany blue box, how they have the white ribbon on top.
That's still a tough one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like, even if I look at pictures of it now, it's like, why did somebody pay me for that? But a lot of my customers, they understand that I'm still starting out. That's why I'm not charging, like, crazy prices for my cakes, and I'm still learning as I go. So as I get better, the prices are going to go up because it's like I'm using different stuff. I'm doing different methods, but at the same time, I'm not trying to cheat people and be charging the same amount as somebody that's been baking for 30 years. And it's like, it's not the same quality. Yeah. So basically, I charge what I'm worth at this point. Okay. And I don't know. It just kind of goes from there. I did do my biggest cake. It was 5 tiers. And that one was kind of crazy because I delivered it to an Applebee's. And I delivered the cake, first mistake, by myself.
Oh,
the box was like not big enough, so I had to like wrap it in all kinds of like plastic wrap, and then I'm trying to get this cake through Applebee's like around the tables, but it ended up actually not being horrible at all.
That's good. You didn't drop it.
Yeah, I didn't drop it. It didn't fall over. Yeah. I've had a couple cakes fall over. It was that was a really drunken night. But other than that, it's working out so far.
Okay. So have you gotten any like super crazy requests? And you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that one.
No, because I'm actually prepared for anything. Okay, honestly, like outside of my business and when I'm trying to be serious, I do a lot. So
you'll take on anything.
Really surprises me. Yeah. I'll do just about anything.
I do have to say, my favorite one is one of my favorite ones is the Minion one. I just love how it's like is part of the.
I like the Minion one too.
It's all part of the cake, you know, and it's like that whole thing is the cake. It's so
it was completely edible. That was a good one.
Yeah, those are my favorite ones where it's like you come instead of just designing with the frosting and then maybe like you'll have like a printout thing or whatever. You actually make the cake like the thing, the object.
Yeah. After I shaped that cake, it actually took like 4 hours for me to decorate it. Just wrapping it and putting everything in place. Yeah. And that was after everything was pre-made and had to just put it together because I was trying to make sure that it was as accurate as possible.
Yeah, that was good. It came out good. I'm sure whoever got it was...
Oh, yeah, they loved it. But
was it a kid?
It was. Okay. It was actually a first birthday.
Oh, my God. I bet they were so happy.
It was a first birthday party, and then we had little matching cupcakes, and all the cupcakes were Minions, too. So that was a fun one.
So in your industry, how do you prepare for February? I know everybody wants to get romantic, and I could just imagine chaos. And correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have a team. It's not a unit of people behind the scenes.
Oh, no, it's just me.
Okay. So with only being you, how do you mentally prepare for your Februaries?
I always make a menu. Okay. And I stick to my menu. If it's not on my menu, you can't get it. Because when you start going off the menu and you don't have a specific set of stuff that you want to do, you'll have one person ordering chocolate cupcakes, another person getting white chocolate raspberry, you'll have cassata, and then it's like you're doing too many things.
Yeah.
So you can't really focus on doing everything the right way. So my menu is actually it's golden.
See, that's smart, because then you could funnel everything instead of it being like, hey, I want this. But you're like, okay, I like, you know, even ingredients wise, you can have everything prepared. You know exactly what you have in the fridge. Nothing's like thrown in left field. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
Now, how do you respond to the what I want to call them, the late bloomers? You know it's 10 a.m. on Valentine's Day, and you know they keep calling. And they're like, I need you.
I actually just made a post on Instagram about this yesterday because my cousins are notorious for that. Like, they're going out to dinner with their wives or their girlfriends at 6, and they're calling me at 4:30. Like, what do you have in the refrigerator? Nothing. It's 4:30 on Valentine's Day, and you want me to have just a huge assortment of something. I sold it all. So I remember one year I actually ended up going to the store, buying more stuff, and I made a cupcake bouquet for my cousin and his wife. And it was finished like 10 minutes before he got there because he ordered it so late.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, like, since you have your menu, you just have like a few extras that's hidden there and then upcharge. Well, I guess if it's for your family, you don't want to upcharge. But
I'm not really big on the whole upcharge and then the late fees and stuff like that because I just feel like with me personally, if I got to charge you extra, then I'm going to just tell you I can't do it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because the extra money doesn't compensate for the headache that I have to go through getting the extra stuff, making sure that everything is right, and then you want it to look like this picture, but I'm using the strawberries that I usually blend in my smoothie. So...
Yeah, so it's basically just saying...
I know exactly you're not getting the same quality stuff if you wait that late.
Yeah, I'm the same way with videos. It's like... You know, I could make the extra money, but I'll just be like, you know, the amount of time it'll take me is just not worth the extra money when I could just, you know, have a relaxing Valentine's Day or something like that, you know?
Quality is definitely more important for me.
Yeah. Yeah, way over. Because I feel like for you, it sounds like it's not just about the money, it's about you doing what you love and, like, seeing people's faces when they, you know, they get it and they're happy with it. Yeah. You know, it's like, because the money will come as you grow and as you get better, the money will be there. But right now it's just like, how can I make the best stuff? How can I, you know, please them and just create a good product? Yeah, because I'm still making a name for myself. Most of the people, even that watch this video, don't know who I am. They never heard of me. They never heard my name. They've never seen my face. So I don't want it to be like you order something from me and it's like, oh, well, she was on this podcast and they're talking to her like she's doing so well, and you get something and it's like, I could have made that myself. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that it's something that's memorable and something where you're not going to just order one time. You need to be able to order from me every time your kid has a birthday, every time something's coming up, every holiday. I want it to be frequent customers instead of that one time and then, okay, well, next time I'm going to get it from this person. Yeah. So I'm trying to make a good impression on everybody, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody is satisfied. So I try to take my time and make sure everything is cool. Yeah, that's humbling, you know, to say it's like, okay, let my product talk for me, you know? Yeah. Instead of most people, like a lot of people you see in almost any field, kind of creative, cooking-wise, you know, it's like they come off with this kind of cockiness and be like, oh, yeah, I'm the best around, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at me. I'm on, you know, I was on a podcast, I did this, I made this X, Y, and Z cakes this year. But it's like, no, you gotta let your product talk for you. Yeah. You have to let then, because that's what really sells everything, right? Is that you have a good product, then people want that. And then more people want that because they talk about it, like, oh, she's so cool, you know, she hooked me up with this cake, couldn't beat the price, couldn't beat the outcome of it, like, it was just great, you know? That's what really sells a product. Yeah. And creates a great business. For sure. It's so funny because people will order something from me and then they won't order for like a year or two, and they'll be like ordering like they're a new customer, but I'm like so personal with all of my stuff. It's like, I have your number saved from 3 years ago. I know exactly who you are. Like, so you don't have to, oh, well, I wanted to see. No, just call me, tell me what's going on, and we'll go from there. Yeah. That makes sense. So, like, what's your so you get a request for a cake. Okay. What's kind of the process, going into it? How do you come up with your designs? Is it like, do they bring it to you, or sometimes you have to create your own, or how's it work?
I like pictures for inspiration just because I always tell people, show me something that you like, and then I'll put a twist on it, and I'll do it my way. But at least you have an idea of what you're getting. And then for the people that want something that's completely off the top of my head, I do a lot of drawing too. So I actually have a template where I'll draw a cake out, and based off what they say they want, we'll actually, like, sometimes I do it on FaceTime, sometimes we send pictures back and forth, and as I draw the picture out, I let them change what they want, and then I redraw the picture and send it back to you. So I mean, my customers have a lot of input on the designs that I do. Yeah. But I do get sometimes the cakes where I get complete creative control. And like my mom's cake, I know what she likes, so it was just a complete coach design. Yeah. So it depends on what that person is looking for and what they want.
Yeah, that's cool though. It kind of balances itself out, and I feel like, you can really go crazy on the ones where it's just like, oh, hey, do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Just like come up with your cool stuff, and you can just do some amazing stuff.
But even then, I have a list of questions like, do you want silver or gold? Yeah. How big do you want it? Do you want it to have filling or icing? Like, you got to tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, you have to have some sort of like guidance. Or like
one lady even told me, she was like, you ask a lot of questions. I'm like, aren't I supposed to?
Yeah, that should be good. Don't you want to get the product you wanted? Like,
you gotta get what you're asking for. So
yeah. How do you improve? You make a lot of stuff, and each year you see like stuff goes on. But like, what do you do so you can improve?
Every time I make a cake, I make a video of it, and I look at the video, and I like play the video on the loop, and I'll see everything that I did wrong in that cake, and I try to do it better the next time. So I'm really critical of myself, sometimes too much, but that's really the only way for me to understand it.
Yeah, and to grow.
Yeah, I got to kind of pick myself apart in order for me to be like, okay, well, next time I need to do it this way instead of that way.
That makes sense. So one thing I've always like wondered is, how do you do the printout graphics? Like, you print out a label that's edible of the Patron bottle. How does it? I don't even know how that works.
Well, you have to find the picture. Right. Then you have to make sure you have a program that can take out the extra stuff and the drawings, and sometimes it'll have like watermarks. You have to make sure it doesn't have any watermarks. Right. Okay. I have a special printer, special paper, special ink. Like, you have to actually order a whole setup.
Okay, so it's like a whole printer process type thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you got to design it, then you print it, make sure everything is right.
Is it like little...
It's like you can't touch it too much.
So is it like little sheets of like... Do they come in... See, I'm thinking like, okay, this comes in like a stack of like almost edible paper. Mm-hmm. Like, is that what it does? Is like comes in like...
yeah.
Okay.
That's so crazy to me.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's different ways.
I'm trying to imagine what it looks like.
It's different kinds of paper you can order. It's different kinds of printer. You can do transfers, or you can do actual images. It depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. I'm trying to imagine what the printer looks like. I was always wondered. I was just so confused.
It looks like a regular printer.
Oh, really? And it's just like the ink is just edible ink?
Mm-hmm. It's mostly just dyes and things like that. Okay. I'm making it simple, but it's a process.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You got to definitely make sure you're doing everything right. And like I said, if you touch it too soon, or you have the slightest bit of oil or anything.
Oh, yeah, because it probably takes a while to dry, huh? Not
as long as you think.
Okay.
So out of the liquor cakes, which one is your favorite, your personal favorite?
It's actually one that I'm doing this weekend. One of my best friend, actually, she is getting a Crown Apple cake, and Crown Apple, if anybody know me, that's my thing. Okay. So I'm like really excited to make this cake because I've done Patron, I've done Absolute, Tito's, Hennessy, I've done Remy, I've done VSOP, but this is like, I feel like this is my cake, so I got to do it right.
Okay.
Are you going to infuse any of the little bit of like, Crown Apple into the cake?
I can, but I'm probably not
Okay.
for this one. Just because it's Valentine's Day weekend, so it's like I'm doing a cake on top of my orders.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm probably not going to go too crazy on it, but I'm going to definitely make sure it's cute.
Okay.
What's your go-to, cake flavor?
White chocolate raspberry.
Ooh, okay.
The white chocolate raspberry, that's my favorite, my mom's favorite, my dad likes it, and I'm like, if he like it and he'll eat a slice of it, then it's good.
I feel like you can't go wrong. That just sounds good.
Yeah, it's a process.
So, who are some of your inspirations in the baking industry?
City-wise or just overall?
Just overall, just people you look up to, kind of study their stuff.
Well, of course, Cupcake Mama. I know everybody looks at that. I look at a lot of people that's in the city, honestly.
Okay.
And then there are some other labels that's outside of that. There's Cake Teak. There's Gourmet Girl, Custom Cakes. There's actually a bakery that just opened up down the street from my mom's daycare center. It's called Couture Creations. And I've never met any of these people, but it's they inspired me to be better because I look at their stuff and then I look at mine and I'm like, dang, how come I can't get my edges this sharp? But I do a lot of, I wouldn't say stalking, but I would say I definitely watch for inspiration. I try to watch their video tutorials the most because I learn new techniques basically every day.
Yeah. Well, thank God for TikTok and Reels and Instagram and stuff because you can learn so much just from watching that stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta study the game. I feel like I don't know. Often, we get people and they say they just don't study nothing. Sometimes I think it's false, but it could be true. So let's just say everybody we interview tells the truth here. But I just think that's just a terrible mindset. How can you not study? You didn't create the cake. It ain't like you created the cake. So you need to study, and that's how you get innovation.
Right.
And eventually become, even better than the people you're watching. I just think it's crazy that some people just don't. And that goes for whatever you're doing. If you're doing a video, if you make cakes, if you make music, whatever you do, you need to study.
Learn the rules to break the rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
You gotta learn the way of the game in order to beat the game. So that's just facts. Everyone should just always you have to study people, especially even in kind of a competitive aspect. You want to know what everyone's doing. Mm-hmm. You want to know how you can get your edge. What can you do that's even different.
Products, especially as small as Cleveland is, everything is being compared to the next person.
Yeah.
It's I got a cake from this person and it wasn't stacked like that. Or it had more ice in between the layers. Or just sometimes the craziest stuff you'll hear about and it's that's not how I do it.
Yeah.
That's not what I use. So if that's what you want, sorry, I'm not going to go out and buy everything that they use because that don't make sense. Then you're not getting the cake from me. You're getting a watered down version of what they do. And that's not what I'm trying to do. You gotta at least, if you want to be in the running and you want to actually be a contender towards the other people that you going up against pretty much, you gotta kind of have something that you're offering that's not the same as theirs, but it's still something that make people come back.
Yeah.
You can't just be out here, I'm going to do it this way. And if people don't like it, so what? That don't make money, and it don't make sense. So.
Yeah, and that's what really is cool about when you have your someone gives you creative freedom, is you kind of get to do your own you have your own spin on it. You do your own little addition to what it maybe look like if they show you other people's designs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sick, which is awesome. So how does the baking industry work? So is it you just do your own thing up until a certain point, and then you start a brick and mortar shop, or is it you can go and work in someone else's bakery for a while and learn some tools? I'm just so lost because it's totally opposite of what
it depends on the route you want to go.
Okay.
Because people have done it totally different ways. Me personally, I was at culinary school. I went from culinary school to working at Obon Pan on the Cleveland Clinic site. I went from there to having my stand in the mall. And then I went from having my stand in the mall to now I do mostly cakes and I'm not doing the chocolate as much. So it depends on basically what you're doing. And over time, I've seen my business evolve so much it's ridiculous because I went from just making chocolate lollipops, which is solid chocolate on a stick, to doing full events. And it's like, how did I get here? Because this is not what I was supposed to be. It's like Sweet Trees by Shawntel. I'm pulling up in the Jeep that say Sweet Trees by Shawntel, but I just made your balloon better. So it's like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
You definitely just gotta, you make sure you're not doing too much, but whatever you are doing, you gotta be good at it. Because you can't say that you're doing something and you have 17 different things you do, but you're only good at one of them. That don't make sense either. Because it's like...
Yeah, learn. So it's like, continue to learn, take a risk, and then, like, just, it's a slow process. Yeah. Because you're not going to go from making, yesterday I was making just lollipops, now I'm making, like, 5-tier cakes and delivering it to Applebee's. Like, you don't just, like, that takes time. It takes time to grow. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, though, is like, it's just not like overnight you're just going to be baking cakes and selling, cakes every day out the door, just like crazy. It just takes time to build that clientele, to build, even awareness. Because I feel like you are mainly probably by, what would you say, word of mouth? And, because...
I have an Instagram for the business. I have a Facebook for the business. I have a fully functioning website. But it's mostly just... somebody knowing somebody, and I feel like in a lot of ways you got to know somebody that knows somebody. Like, it can't just be
especially
the person that lives. Yeah, it can't be the person that lives down the hall all the time. Sometimes you got to get something that's big. Yeah, and it honestly, it can take one order to launch any business. Whether you make socks, bracelets, jewelry, you do hair, it sometimes take one person to really put you on the map. So that's why I make sure that everything that I'm doing is always basically the best that I can offer, because you never know who's in the room, who's getting a slice of this cake, who's taking a picture of this, or who is related to the person that did the nails or the person that ordered the cake from you for their daughter. You never know who people are.
True that, yeah. You never know who's tasting the cake. And that's another thing, is like, I think there's a lot of emphasis on design, which... that the industry is, like, really about. But I feel like it's also how the cake tastes, like...
How the cake tastes and how the cake feels in your mouth.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be good, but if it's good and there's no texture or it's not moist, good, it's like you got to make sure it's the total package. And over the years, it's like I had the taste, but now I'm getting the look, the design part of it. Right? Yeah. So... It's because
the inside's good now. Now it's time to it's time to
it's like I got the inside good, the inside solid. Now let's get the outside right.
Yeah, and you can do like kind of almost any cake.
I wouldn't say any cake.
Okay.
I've attempted a lot of different designs, different shapes, sizes. I've even done a 16-inch wedding cake, but it depends on what they want the cake to look like, what you're doing, where you're taking it, and how sturdy your board is too. Because sometimes if you're putting a heavy cake on a thin board, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah. So, do you have like a special oven at home?
No.
No, just a regular oven. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I figured you had like maybe like a setup in the garage or something. With like a giant ass
a crazy oven.
Yeah, I don't
know. No, not yet.
See, like I know nothing about the baking game. I'm like terrible bake. I'm the opposite. I can like cook pretty good, but baking is just not my forte.
At the same time, though, are those like tools that you like look up, like I don't know, like, if I get this amount of money, I could buy this, which will help my business. Or are there any, like, what's the tools that...
I feel like refrigerator
that people look up.
Goes crazy.
I would say a refrigerator, but the best thing that you can buy is a good spatula.
Okay.
A good spatula will take you real far.
Yeah, okay.
So when you say refrigerator, like, what's the functions that you don't have now that you would like?
I would say definitely a blast chiller. Just because it's like super, super cold.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll get whatever you're doing. If you have something where it's a design that you need quickly, or you have something where, like with the drip cakes, sometimes you got to be careful, because if you make the consistency too smooth, it'll drip all the way down on the board, and if you don't want that effect, you'll end up with something that you can't take off. So I would say a blast chiller, but I have a refrigerator now that's separate from our actual refrigerator because my parents were actually nice enough to give me a whole room in the basement. So I have all my own stuff, all my own space, and I have a refrigerator where it's just completely dedicated to mine. So it does refrigerate and freeze. So when I needed to, I can switch it to freezer and I'm good to go.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
so
little button.
Because, like, my buddy does, like, baking and stuff, too, and he's telling me he's, like, 4 different refrigerators, because it's, like, because you can't stack the stuff either. Sometimes you gotta have racks for each thing, so it's, like, it just takes up a lot of space. Because you can't, it's not like you get to stack, like, 5 cakes on
But that's the beauty of the wintertime sometimes, because what I do is, in my room in the basement, I have speed racks with covers on them. So sometimes I'll make stuff, and like if I'm making like treats or something for a party, I close the vents, I pre-package it, and then I put it on the racks, cover it up. You get to go because it's cold outside right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely helpful. The wintertime is definitely it's way better than the summer, because in the summer you get cakes melting, chocolate melting,
especially when you're traveling with them. I feel like.
Oh yeah. I had one order, it was a wedding, and they did bride and groom box pretzel rides. Every person at the party was supposed to get a box with the bride and the groom inside the box. They had to transport it an hour and a half away in the middle of summer. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I actually ordered ice sheets from Amazon, and I froze them, and I had ice sheets in the box. And I had it in a plastic tote, and I actually used dry ice in the bottom, just because it's like, y'all going this far, you putting it in the trunk of somebody's car.
Which is the hottest spot.
Yeah, and it's inside boxes individually with paper in the bottom and everything, so you got to be able to get something through the width of the box, the paper and everything, to make sure they don't melt.
Right.
Wow.
That would have been stressful.
It was. I had a lady, she had me freeze a cake, and she drove it to Atlanta in the middle of summertime.
From Cleveland?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I made it, I froze it, I wrapped it up.
But hey, that's dope that because she could have just bought a cake in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? She could have just had a cut. But that's sweet that, they respected your stuff so much that they're like, hey, I'm going to buy it here.
I was very strict on the design of that cake, though, because it's like you got to make sure it's going to still look at least something like what it's supposed to look like when you get there.
No, I'm just saying, yeah. No, you do like a wedding, and it's like you have it all laid out, looks beautiful, then like the bride and groom melt off, and it's
That has happened to me before.
That would be so stressful.
See,
that happened to me. Actually, I had a naked cake. And the semi-naked cakes is basically no icing on the outside. It's only on the inside. And the cake was too warm when I iced it. So I stacked it, was getting ready to go. I made one turn on the freeway, and I just heard it fall. Oh, my goodness. It was a mess. I had to go home, redo it. Like, I was actually early. That's not something that I do. I'm usually late with every...
Same. No.
Like, if you tell me you need something at 1 o'clock, I'm usually getting there like 1:45. Hey, here's your cake. I know it's horrible, but I always tell people, okay, what time does your party start? Okay, I'm going to come an hour before that just to make sure I'm on time.
Okay, so you deliver the cakes too, so you're on it.
Oh, yeah.
So now
I do.
See, now you need a big van, you need like a chilled van or something.
But that's why I drive a Jeep. I pull my seats down and I'm good.
There you go, yeah. But you need to get that like refrigerator van or something.
One day.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you could even that could even be kind of the start. You get like something like that, or like maybe even an ice cream truck type deal, and even serve it out of there instead of like a brick and mortar stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of different options and a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So, what's like a cake you wanna, you're eager to kind of attempt that you haven't yet?
I don't know. I can't really think of it because I always use people in my family's birthdays as an opportunity to try something out.
Smart, yeah.
So I don't know.
How hard would it be how hard would it be to make a 3-dimensional maze? Like what? Like basically like a maze.
Out of cake, like
out of cake, and then it's like I can see like the different ways to like go. You know how like a maze is.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, so it is as hard as I think it would be. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept that because it's like you're gonna end up with virtually no cake, and if you want me to ice it, I mean, I hope you're okay with like a ganache or just something, a mirror glaze or something that can just slide down.
I just feel like a kid would be so amazed. I mean, I'd be amazed.
Well, standing there like we just staring at the cake for like an hour.
Rolling the ball through it, trying to figure out. Yeah, I just wouldn't do that one. I would have to say no to that.
Okay.
What about a cake that moves? That has some electronic stuff in it.
That would be fun.
That's next level, yeah.
Yeah. I've done cakes where some parts of it lit up before.
That's cool.
But
okay.
I haven't done anything that moved.
Yeah, I feel like that's like some like Cake Boss type shit. Like
oh my
stuff.
goodness. And those shows actually are what motivate me because it's like if the cakes on Cake Wars can fall over, I'm okay.
Yeah, because you know what happens. See, even the best people.
Because this happened to y'all on TV.
Yeah.
I'm just in Cleveland. These people don't even know me. So
because it does happen to I couldn't even imagine their cakes where they spend like days and weeks on a certain cake maybe, and then to have it fall over. Yeah. Crazy.
It's heartbreaking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That's a lot of stress. Especially in my opinion, it's like crazy because it's like especially a wedding because you have one chance. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're delivering it, you have one chance. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna go home and build another like 8-tier cake. Like you can't just do that.
No, it like takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I think for anything that you do, a wedding is your big word of mouth event. Mm-hmm. Like if they like the cake and you show up on time and it looked like what they said, they tell 3 or 4 people. Those are like
that's the money maker.
Those are your big orders. Yeah. But if you late, you already lost. Basically, like let alone the cake not being a thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, wedding is like
that's crazy.
That's the moneymaker event.
So, would you want to go on one of those shows and like Sweet Treats or cake? I don't know. Is it Cake Wars or is it what's it called?
They have Cake Wars. They have Cupcake.
I mean, they have so many shows now that I can't keep up with it. But I don't know. Sweet Treats is one on Netflix.
I've seen Cake Wars before.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like I'm not ready.
No.
That's fair.
So if you had to pick one person though to team up with, who would you pick? Say you're
like
on the
out
show.
of people I know.
Yeah, say you're on the say like, hey, I got an email back, like they want me to be on the show, and you need a partner because usually they're in duos.
Honestly, my dad.
Okay.
Because my dad has walked in the kitchen, and he does this thing where he'll watch me over my shoulder for a while. Makes me so nervous, but he does it all the time. He'll walk in the kitchen and he'll watch what I'm doing, and then he'll walk up to the cake with a knife. And he'll be like, that's too wide. And he'll slice it with an X-Acto knife and walk away. And I'm like, did you just cut my cake?
That's such a dad move. That's
but crazy. He does it and he's right? Usually right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
So I'm expecting you to be on one of those shows with your dad.
Oh Lord,
it's possible, man. Like,
think what, but that
they would have to stop the show because in the middle of the show we'd be arguing.
No, that would make good TV. They'd be like,
get out.
Yeah. Shawntel's over there by herself now. They're making two different cakes.
Somebody in from backstage. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. If I do go, he probably won't be there.
See, I feel like now though you need to find what would take you to the next level too is like finding somebody that is equally as passionate, and then combine your two where you guys can do like double the amount of effort and you guys have your own business, because I feel like most bakeries have like those two main people that are just both the best.
But that's where you have to think about it because a lot of businesses fail. Or they split up, or they sell, or you get lower quality stuff once you get more than one person in there. Sometimes the creative paths just go different ways.
That's also true.
Branch apart, and then it's like, well, now what?
Yeah.
And that's my only thing, and that's the reason I don't really call people in too much to help me, because I don't want it to be like, this is my vision, this is your vision, and we can't come together. Because I'm real nice right now, but it's like when it's something that it's a serious moment and I'm stressed out and everything is happening, I get real funky. And I'm like, I'm not easy to work with all the time. Not at all.
I mean, when it's like, what, this is who you are, this is your, this is your creativity, this is your idea. It is hard for, like, someone that they don't see eye to eye, then,
Definitely.
Yeah, but do you ever work with anybody? Do you have, like, a little, like, kind of community that you, talk with? Oh, yeah,
I definitely, when I feel overwhelmed, I have people I call.
Okay.
But it's not always, and it's not very often. Because I'm the type, I'll stay up by myself all night to get something done before I call for help. And I kind of need to stop doing that, because it's like I'm going to run myself into the ground at some point, but I know I can do it. So however long it takes.
I was just thinking. So
like that.
I know we skipped over this a little bit. So you were in culinary school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So what does a group project look like? Like I want to say I don't know if it's group finals, but if it is, I would rather know about that. But a group project in general, like, you guys are supposed to come together and cook, but I could just see different people, like, I'm that, like, you know what I mean? So how was it? Or was it just easy?
It depends. We did do a lot of group projects, and it's usually 2 or 3 people. And the best way to do it is to set it up based off what you're the strongest at. Somebody cooks the meat, somebody makes the sauce. Somebody makes a side dish. Everybody can't make pasta or rice or risotto. You got to find what you're good at.
Okay.
And what you can specialize in. You can't just say, oh, I can do anything. Because, you can do it, but is it going to be the best that it can be? So you got to make sure, if you can cook, you cook the meat. If I can make a better sauce than you, we're going to use my sauce and not your sauce. If I can make rice better than you, then I'm going to make the rice and you make some broccoli. Or you make something like that, just to make sure that it's the best product you can offer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like, let's look at the kitchen in general. This is like a collaborative place. At all these restaurants, you have 4 or 5 people back there cooking. Mm-hmm. So you need to be able to work together, and everyone's at a station that they feel the strongest at. So it does make sense that there'd be more group projects than just single person projects. That doesn't make. And I've been watching a lot of Hell's Kitchen. So
Hell's Kitchen.
No, I swear I've been watching. I'm on my 3rd season.
Does that show still come on?
Yes, it's actually coming out with new episodes. But I'm on I went and watched the old ones. I'm on the season finale right now of season 14, but they have I think they're on 19 now.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Chef Ramsay's a goat, and that show they just have so much money to put in that show. They just do crazy ass shit. It's just so entertaining. You can't beat it.
19 seasons is crazy.
Yeah, nine.
Just thinking about all the different people.
Yeah, but that is the beauty of the show. Is like, these people are becoming amazing chefs.
Yeah.
They may not have like had the opportunity before, you know, because he's giving out like, so you get $250,000 and a head chef position. You can't beat that. Like, that's dope. That's what I was thinking about, going to culinary school at some point.
It's definitely really fun.
Yeah, my dad was a chef for a while. And he went to like Pittsburgh Culinary Institute. He doesn't do that now. He kind of made a switch to like, he does more of like home improvement type stuff,
okay,
modeling. But he was a chef for a while. It does eat at you. Being a chef does stress you out.
Long hours. You gotta.
Well, shitty hours too, because you're working, dinners.
And you gotta bite your tongue a lot. And I know a lot of chefs and a lot of people in the industry, they are not always like the most easygoing people. It's usually, you gotta be a tough person to work in any kitchen, to be in any type of cooking industry, because it's a stressful job. It's a stressful situation most of the time. You're always on a timer. You're always working with different things. It's going to be people coming in saying stuff, and it's like, I could say this or I could do this, but I can't. And sometimes that changes people, Because I've even seen people from going through culinary school. It's like towards the end, people would drop out because I can't do this. Because it's so stressful. And you have to always, it's like you're always under this light. You're always on camera. Because you have to have that image, and everybody, the customer's always right. No, you're not. But I have to make you think that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking about it in terms of people. I mean, taste is subjective. Like almost one of the craziest things to be subjective about, because it's like, okay, people say like look is subjective, but if something looks good, it looks good. But taste is crazy.
Yeah.
Because Will may like chicken tenders, but I may only eat chicken wings. I think chicken tenders are gross. But like, you can make the best chicken tenders, but I'm gonna think they're gross because they're not chicken wings, or they're not cooked the way I like chicken tenders to be cooked.
Exactly.
That's what's so crazy. Even with cake, like it's like cakes, like what tastes good to you may not taste good to me. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Because that one frosting, I don't know what it is. I do not like that frosting. It's like man.
What are you talking about? Like the kind of like the harder frosting, like the
what is it?
The butter.
I'm trying to think how to even describe it. It's like it's in a lot of stores though. It's more like you will see it in more stores versus like somebody cake shop. Like commercial stores, like a Walmart or like a Giant Eagle or something.
Yeah.
I don't like that frosting.
What's the soft frosting? The butter, is it buttercream?
Buttercream.
Buttercream. That stuff's good.
Yeah, that's good.
When it's made right.
When it's made right, yeah.
Yeah. Because even if you've been making buttercream for years, you can mess buttercream up and not even know you did it.
Yeah.
Until it's like, you go to spread it on something, and it's like, what is happening?
See, that's the craziest thing about baking, is like you mess one ingredient up, when you bake that, you can tell. Like you can instantly tell that, oh, you didn't add enough this, and you can't correct it because it's already baked. Mm-hmm. That's what's so crazy. Like at least like cooking, like I can like, okay, I didn't add enough salt to my chicken. Oh, I'm gonna add salt. But you can't add. It's a cake that comes out baked. You can't add extra sugar to it.
That has actually happened to me, but it ended up being useful later in life because I accidentally baked a cake and I forgot to put the eggs in it. Because it was one of my late nights. I'm baking, trying to get everything done. Then I took the cake out the oven, and I'm like, why did it feel like that? But it was because I forgot to put the eggs in.
Yeah.
And then it actually turns out, fast forward 4 years later, the Minion Cake was made for a little boy with an egg allergy.
Oh, wow.
So I had to make the cake without eggs. And I knew it would work. But it's like, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I ended up remaking the first time I did it, had to remake everything because I didn't have any eggs in it.
Yeah, but you learn. Yeah, you do learn. Isn't that crazy how life kind of gives you like these little like foreshadowing moments?
But I told his mom because we went to middle school together, and I told her, I was like, oh, I did that by accident one time. Yeah, I can do it. And she was like, how do you accidentally make a cake with no egg?
It's just like it's sitting there and you just forget to put it in. Like it's
That's
crazy.
That's just a part of me being goofy.
Yeah, that's amazing though. I guess kind of like, the last thing to kind of talk about, what is one piece of advice, and we ask this to all our guests, what is one piece of advice you'd tell younger Shawntel? Just about life.
Don't get mad so easily. Like, relax. Take time and understand that you're not perfect. Because, like I said, I'm so critical of myself. I always go above and beyond, and then it's like I do something. And I've even had times where somebody will pick up a cake. They love the cake, but I close the door and I'm crying because I feel like I didn't do it right. Okay. And that's the thing that I have to work on. But now that I have more cake-fidence, as I call it, I don't do that now. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, here we go. Let's do it.
You should make that into a shirt.
I probably should. I probably will go home and do that.
That's dope. And then you're also getting into more custom. I seen like your custom glasses. Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat too. So you're doing that type of stuff now too. So
yeah, the mask I came in with, I put the letters on it. I've done the T-shirts for my mom's daycare center. I've done T-shirts for like our 4th of July celebration last year. I've done face masks. I've done banners. I actually am redoing the decal on my car. So
see, that's smart because then you're getting like, okay, you can do custom cakes, but now you can do so much more because each cake or any type of sweets that you do is probably for an event, right?
Yeah.
So then, boom, you can even add that service into it.
But you also got to think about it. Every new thing that you do is a new set of tools. Okay. It's a new set of machines. Yeah. It's a new set of products and a new set of supplies that you have to have and you have to order. So it becomes a lot.
That is true.
It becomes a lot, but in the end, it's rewarding.
Yeah. Because in the end, eventually, you'll just be walking in and be like, oh, that cake looks good. Okay, I'm just designing. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, then
definitely.
At one point, you become the boss, and then everything's like way easier, and then you just run it, and all your ideas is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on here. That was great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Learned a lot. Learned a lot about baking.
It's a whole different world.
All right. Could you go ahead and tell the audience where they could find you at?
On Instagram, it's Oh So Sweet Treats. You can also find it on Facebook as Oh So Sweet Treats. Or if you want to follow my personal page, it's that__ chocolate girl.
Yes. Check your stuff out. It's great. It's great.
OnlyFans? Do you show people how to make?
No.
Well,
you tried it.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for watching and listening. It's your boy Chef T.
I'm with a Spacekid.
Oh, was that supposed to say?
I know we didn't warn you beforehand, but
that's fine.
Go ahead. Just go ahead and start off.
Bye.
See you guys. Keep it real. See you next week. Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell. Check him out on all streaming services at Stevo Music, spelled ST3V30 Music. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And see you next week when we talk with Skylar Ray from Limit Marketing. She's a graphic designer, she does real estate marketing. She's kind of a melting pot of everything. It was great, so you won't want to miss it. See you next week, y'all.